So we have so many demands on our time. Our phones are constantly throwing notifications. Our jobs demand that we work harder, faster, smarter, much more efficiently. And generally, society moves at a 24-hour pace. What I want to do today really was to record a video about being present and being here and being in the moment, which, although it sounds very, very simple, is quite possibly the hardest thing to do in this day and age. And there's several factors for this. One is our conditioning is always looking for the next moment, the next moment, the next moment. And in this mythical next moment, when everything makes sense, we will finally be happy. So we look for this next moment in relationships, in drink, in accumulating wealth. And it's all based upon this conditioned pattern which says that, and it's something that's been going on since time immemorial, that we will be happy when. And what's incredible is we never do find that sense of happiness that we're looking for, because of this fact that we're always looking in the next moment and not resting in what we actually are. And it leads to a situation where we're really not present in our lives, and we miss some incredible moments, the bird song, the beautiful weather, or just sitting there sometimes and just being in a moment without any effort, or without trying, or without trying to do anything. And I've noticed it more and more that and I've found it kind of creeping into my life as well sometimes, that sometimes when there's so many demands upon you, you can miss those moments that just take your breath away, just that being able to just sit there and stare and not have anything on your mind, not have to be somewhere or do something, but just to be here. And what you find is when we are present and we're here, the idea of doing or trying or being or any concept of doing or personhood just disappears, and it becomes quite easy. It becomes, life is lived from a very natural way of being, and it's not hard. There doesn't have to be that struggle that so many of us associate with day-to-day living, and we don't have to do anything to cultivate this being present. I think sometimes we just need to stop, because there's not really a method or a practice to being who you actually are. It's something that occurs naturally, and it's something which is a very efficient way of living. It's something that's inherently us. However, due to stories and conditioning and separation moving on generations and generations and generations, we believe that just being here is such a hard thing to do. So we invent a myriad of practices such as meditation or mindfulness or being here now, and we never really just stop and just sit and just take in the sights and the sounds, because we've been told, or we've been conditioned, that it's almost wrong to stop now. There's something that always has to be done. There's always a deadline that has to be met. There is always something to do, and we never really question if that's true. I've found as my work has increased that there are more demands upon my time, and I do miss those early days when it was just me and a couple of people just wandering around. And I find that being present in this day and age now, with everything that's going on, is probably quite possibly the most important thing we can actually do. I was talking to a friend recently, and we were talking about the pandemic, and I honestly feel now that with the rate of change at what it is, that to quote Ramana Maharishi, our awakening is quite possibly the most important gift that we can give to the world. And to be awakened, to be free, to be enlightened, realized, or whatever terms you want to use, is just to really be here. It's just to be present. It's just to be able to just sit, stand, lie down, move, breathe in a state of just natural meditation, which isn't done, which isn't practiced, which doesn't have methodology, but occurs naturally. And if we would but just occasionally stop when it naturally occurs to us, we would glimpse more and more of what we actually truly are. And that's something that's very needed, and it's very powerful. It's our birthright. It's who we are. It's how we function. So these videos don't, act as an instructional manual or a video or something that can be taken away. It's just to, in a sense, remind you that this being present is who you are. This presence is your very nature. Before this idea of stories and mind and conditioning and thought and ego and what have you was put on top, layered on top of our natural way of being. And we can access this natural way of being whenever we want. We can just be here by just stopping. And sometimes stopping is a very, very hard thing to do, because we have our deadlines, as I was saying, and sometimes we have all these issues and traumas that are making us really constantly move on because we don't want to accept what's happened. But if we take our time, as I've said in a previous video, if we could just incrementally start accepting who we are, if we can just slowly but surely stop, as and how it's natural to us, we may find that this being present, this being here, this being now is without effort, without doing, without being, without explanation, without any need to really know, and is us as we truly are. So I really hope this video does, really make you want to look at who you really are, to just stop and to just take in the sights and the scenes. As I said, I recorded a video before out in nature, and it was really well received, and I thought, well, it's incredible. I mean, this right now is a meditation. There's a child shouting, there are birds singing, there's the rustling of the wind through the trees, and it's one huge invitation to who we actually truly are.